Hey there, Vikrant here.
Hi, Shaurya here.
And today we shall be discussing. So Shaurya, you have lived, as I understand, in the US, India, and Germany. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Give me some more details about that.
Right, so I was born in the US. I think the most out of everything I've spent my time in the US. But I mean, my family's Indian. I come to India quite a lot. I studied, I think 1 or 2 years in India when I was a kid, about 4th grade, 5th grade maybe. But nothing after that. Then I pretty much left for the US and I did my middle school and my high school and stuff like that in the US. In Texas, and then I moved to Wisconsin, which is up north, close to Canada. And then I did my bachelor's, which is my undergrad in UW-Madison. Good school, but then it was pretty cheap for me too because, well, I'm in state. And then my dad pretty much told me to get out of the house and fund my own stuff, and so I decided that I think Germany is a good place to be, and I think I don't need to really take a big ass loan and need deep pockets to go and study there. So I think Germany was a good idea. Plus, I mean, the programs were just really, I mean, it's hard to find renewable energy stuff in the US. I mean, you could probably if you look really hard, but the good colleges, the mainstream colleges, you will find mechanical engineering, you will find electrical engineering, but there's no like particular focus on renewable or anything like that. I mean, even mechatronics or something like that. So I thought, I mean, it's obviously a good idea for me. I mean, if I want to get involved in renewable energy and things like that, to take up a course in Germany, especially in TUM. I was willing to go into automotive too, but I mean, yeah, I decided to go to TUM.
What are the main differences that you notice in your life outside academics between the US and Germany?
I don't know if there's just a bachelor's master's difference, but I mean, things have definitely relaxed a bit more after I came here, because in the US I would have to spend, in my opinion, 10 to 15 hours a day to study. If I did not do that, I would 100%, like I was not, I mean, I told you my GPA was like a 3 point, so it was not like I was a very top class student. I was a decent student, but if I think if I wouldn't do that, then I could fail a few classes or something like that. But because US is very different in the sense how they want you to do things. Here, you, for the most part, you have to take classes and they teach you everything, and then there's one big exam towards the end of the semesters, and then you just pass or fail. Your grade is based on that exam for the most part. I mean, there's obviously some differences, but in the US it never happens, because finals are sometimes 20%, 30%, maybe they'll be 40% of your total grade. The massive, I mean, they will give you like a quiz that will be 10% of your grade. So if you flunk that quiz and you get a 0 on that, you're pretty much out of the A zone, because A starts from a 92, 93. So you have to really put in everything from the word go. You cannot slack off at any point in the semester if you really want to score well in an American university, at least.
I'll say that was a big shock for me also, because I'm also used to more of a system, at least for my university. I was used to a system like the US, where you have multiple tests throughout the semester, and then once I came here and I see one exam and in or out, and that is scary, and it happens at times that you screw up one question and you know during the exam that you have screwed up that question, and you know you don't have the time, so either you cut off the paper, walk out, fail, come again next semester and write the same exam again, or you take whatever grade you get.
Yeah, it obviously changes your life too, because I mean, in Germany it's really easy to not focus on your stuff, because you know the exams are 2 months away, 3 months away. You're just slacking, you're just doing whatever you want, and then suddenly you have 5 exams on your head. And I mean, I feel like it's not something you could do in a week or even 2 weeks, like just cram everything. If you really want to have a deeper knowledge of what you're studying, you really need to put the time in, at least study just the way you study in the US. You need to put, I mean, you don't have to study as much here, I feel. You can put in like 3 or 4, maybe 5 hours, even that. A lot of people don't do that, but I mean, if you put in that much time, I think you'll be more than fine. But you have to do it every day and not slack and not get lazy. I think it's a bigger challenge, because there's no how do they say here, they say there's no hand holding like in the US, because the professors are not telling you need to learn this today, or they're not forcing you to, because you just have to know everything by the end of the semester. So yeah, life is a bit more relaxed in my opinion. People enjoy a bit more here.
For sure. And I mean, not just during the education, even after. I think the work culture, once you start working, it's very different also. But I'm also curious about general student life in bachelor, at least in the US. How much of your own cooking, your cleaning, what all do you do? Do you earn your own money? How do you live there that you might compare with the German here in Germany?
It's an unfair comparison, I think, because I was like 1 hour away from my parents' place. It's not like I was going there a lot, but yeah, I mean, I would do a little. I had my roommate was Russian, and so I mean, it was never like we could cook. He would cook some stupid stuff, and I would cook some of my own stupid stuff. But yeah, I would cook a lot, but I think, in my opinion, I ate out a lot more in the US than I do here, mainly because eating out in the US is not that expensive, especially if you're living in a city like Madison. In Munich, you eat out every day. You're no, it's just not possible. I don't think so. Plus, I mean, yeah, financially you need to be a bit more safe, especially with eating out. Even buying clothes it's a lot more expensive, I've seen here. So I'm making a lot of, if not most of it, home. In the US, I would not. I would go out pretty much every other day, if not every day. Cleaning and things like that are very similar, because you need to do your laundry in the US, you need to do your laundry in Munich, and most of the other things are like that. But I mean, yeah, social life and things like that, it was harder for me in the US because I was just so busy all the time. It's harder for me here because, well, Germans are Germans.
You do need a little time, but I'll say you are in one of the best cities to be able to socialize, because Munich is one of the most English speaking cities here in Germany. So at least you get the chance. In smaller cities, I've talked to students from very, very small universities, and they have absolutely no chance because the students maybe don't interact too much or are not used to international students.
Right, that's what I've heard. I mean, to be honest, I think it's not the best thing to improve my German, because I'm not forced to. Everyone here speaks English, and they speak such good English. But if you're in a smaller city, you're forced, because they just don't. Now you need to speak your broken German and whatnot. But here, yeah, everyone speaks English. Everyone's very fluent in English too, so it's not a problem at all.
Perfect. What is the one thing that you missed really from the US that you hope that you had here? Oh, a few things, not just one, maybe. Go ahead. Knock yourself out.
I mean, a lot of things. Mexican food for one. I mean, anyone who's American who knows burritos and stuff, there's just no Mexican food here. There's a few restaurants here. Oops, one sec. A few things like that here and there, but I don't know. I think I miss the social life in general. It's pretty big, because at least in the US you have you could sacrifice one thing to get the other. Like, you could, at any point in time, I could sacrifice, or at least have the ability to sacrifice academic. Here, I mean, Munich is better in that sense. I've been to some other cities where I could just see it's much worse. But yeah, I mean, you just go out in the US, and there's this general habit of people like smiling at you or something, or saying hi or whatever. This is very common here. You go out and people in the U-Bahn or anything, like, people stare at you, like, and I got really scared initially here, because people stare so much, and until one guy told me it's just they stare at everyone, man. They stare at me, and I'm German, so it's not you. It's just Germany. It's just unique. But I mean, yeah, I think social life is one thing, but I mean, there's lots of advantages too. I don't have to work that hard, especially academically, which is it's great, I think.
That's good to hear, because yeah, those experiences are pretty universal in Germany, I think, and they're more or less.
Yeah, have you noticed that staring problem too, or no?
They more or less sum up what Germany does to you.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I was like, why? Every day I go in, and some old lady just consistently for 2-3 minutes. Now I've like started to stare back, and I wave at them or something, and they stop staring at me. But it's, oh my god, it scares you a lot.
The way you say it actually sounds creepy. Thankfully, that never happened to me.
Oh, really? No. It happens every day. Every day it happens. I think
I notice stairs, but I don't notice like continuous following stairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the culture is different. Things that just would not be. I went to a food stand once, and I don't know, I was just being stupid, and I asked this guy. I think it was some form of a sandwich or something, and I asked him how much is it, and he tells me it's written on there. Just look at it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just look at it. I mean, yeah, honestly, I could have just looked at it. Why did I need to? In the U.S., they would be like, oh, let me help you out, because they want to help you out even when you don't need help. You're just like, no, just look at it straight up. But yeah, it's just a culture difference. I think it's people just. They're not more stern, they're just more straightforward, which is a very, very big thing for almost every American who comes here. They just, it's hard for them to tolerate straight out of the US.
What about money, economics? Would you say you spend a lot more in Germany or a lot lesser, or was the US drained you out? What?
In the US, your universities are two types. You have either public universities or you have private universities. And public are basically, they're not government funded, but they're at least owned by the state. So I was in UW-Madison. That was a public university. So they would have very, very steep, not discounts, but they would have different rates for people who are from this. I think that might be a thing in India too. But in India, I think it's more about selection, about who gets in and who's not selected. But they prefer in-state students. Here, they give them much cheaper tuition rates, and the international students are, I think, about 4 times more expensive. So it was very cheap for me. But if I was an international or an out-of-state student, it would be very, very expensive. But I mean, in Germany, I think almost everything I have to pay is based on food. My rent is extremely high in Munich. I think finding an apartment is a pain. But yeah, I think but if you're talking about just purely academics or how much I'm spending on school, it's definitely a lot cheaper. Even though I was in state, it's still a lot cheaper in Munich because I'm literally not paying anything. But food and house, and they're a bit more cheaper. Even clothes are. More expensive. Even clothes are more expensive in Germany in general. I think maybe because of tax and stuff like that. So I tend to buy my clothes in the US and everything I need in the US, not in Germany.
Is there anything else that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who's coming out of Europe, I mean, it could be Indian, it could be American. I think it's just important for everyone to not judge anything too fast, especially in Germany, because Germans tend to show one face, and I think it's very easy to think of that face as being like super. Especially in the U.S., all they've heard about Germany is Hitler's speeches, so they're going in for that. But I mean, yeah, it's really important not to judge people too fast, and it's really important to actually make an effort to try to learn German, try to make friends in Germany, and I think it's not that hard. It's just the brain playing games on you about what you can do and what you can't do. So yeah. Keep an open mind is what I'd say.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot for the information. And thanks a lot for your time, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.